afternoon. Welcome to another edition of your favorite current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Ego Sagmalao. I must tell you that on today's show, we'll be taking a look at very crucial national issues. Only yesterday, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria presented the appropriation bill, the 2019 budget proposal, to a joint section of National Assembly. We'll be talking about that on the show. Not just the presentation, but the shares and jares that characterize the presentation will be our focus. Also on the show, and that is the first on our discussion segment today, we'll be looking at the 2019 election. A lot has happened, and a lot will still unfold, but let's make it very authentic. That on the 16th of February, 2019, the presidential election and the National Assembly elections will hold across the country. And we know that so many parties are interested, vying for the topmost position, the seat of the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's what most parties are gunning for. But something happened recently, and that is the presidential elections, which kick-started with the vice presidential election. If you are in tune with what obtains in developed countries, especially in the US, the presidential election must come before the election. But the vice presidential election has been held.
Debate.
The vice presidential debate rather has been held, organized by the Nigerian Elections Debate Group and the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria. And only 5 political parties are credited for that vice presidential debate: the Allied Congress Party of Nigeria, the Alliance for New Nigeria, All Progressive Congress, the People's Democratic Party, and the Young Progressive Party. Gentlemen, joining me to do the discussion today are very prominent legal practitioners. I have with me a legal practitioner, a law lecturer, and the HOD Business Law, University of Benin, Dr. Job Ojo. Nice to have you with us today.
Good afternoon, Egosa. Good afternoon, viewers and company of the season.
Okay, we also have with us a human rights activist, and only recently just elevated as a chartered arbitrator, a legal practitioner, Barrister Patrick Isekwene. Nice to have you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay.
Happy viewing.
So we get started. 2019 in focus. INEC has reeled out its own process. INEC insists that the card reader will be used. INEC is doing everything possible to curb the cloning of PVC as alleged, and of course to also tackle the menace of vote buying. That's from the umpire, INEC. The presidential candidates are busy. The PDP is already campaigning. And the PDP has even accused the APC that the APC is not campaigning, and alleged that they have other hidden agenda. So a lot is happening on the political space of Nigeria. Dr. Job, how will you react to what is happening ahead of the 2019 election?
Well, thank you very much, Gosa.
Yes.
I think what is happening is good. It's a healthy competition. The ambience of the election is already around the corner. We are feeling it, though there's some pockets of other issues that should also be focused on beyond the elections.
Okay.
Issues of security and, of course, issues of educational issues like the current strike by various unions. But by and large, we all agree that this is a season of election.
Okay.
This is when politicians get busy and doing their best to woo voters and, of course, convince us to elect them or elect fresh persons. In terms of the policy framework for elections, I think everything is on course beyond the Ula Balu about the signing of the Electoral Act as amended, which we all know would have caused a lot of ripples in the electoral sector because it's too short a time to change the rules as it were. But for what we have on ground, INEC is prepared by their own body language. We expect that the monies have been released to them. They've deployed all their resources to get the various equipment needed, especially the card readers. They are up to date. They've retrained their ICT staff. They've got the best software because this is about software. ICT is about software updates and re-engineering. You know, so if the card readers could not read properly in 2015, or even as late as the Osun election now, we did that in 6 months thereafter. You have up-to-date software and up-to-date card reading machines that will improve on the electoral process next year. So that our laws still remain that you can credit voters simultaneously with the voters register, the hard copy, and of course the electronic device through the card reading machines. The idea that the card reading machines will, like it's rightly observed, will authenticate the PVC to avoid the incidence of cloning, and also be able to read your biodata, especially your fingerprints and all that, to ensure that the person before the polling unit is actually the owner of the PVC in question. Because if you don't do that, then instead of mopping up of PVCs, buying of PVCs, underage voters, even non-Nigerians coming to vote, and all other incidents that will taint the electoral process will be there. So the card reader is very, very fundamental. And I think people need to be guided that no law has been made, or no judgment has nullified the use of card reader. The non-signing of the Electoral Act as amended does not affect the use of the card reader, only that the attempts were made to up the ante in terms of electronic voting, so that the card reader would have been the only instrument for accreditation, which the president and other people feel is not right because Nigeria is not ready for it. So we can do it simultaneously. Then as for the campaigns, parties are campaigning. I think it depends on how you want to start. You know, these days people are worried about starting the dance too early and of course getting a swollen leg or swollen feet as a tweet. So I think the other parties will campaign when they think it's necessary for them to campaign. Campaigns are quite expensive, and I think for those who don't have the resources to campaign for 3 months stretch, they want to wait and do that in a 3-week or 1 month stretch. But ideally, campaign should have started 6 months ago because Nigeria is a very big country. And you know that climb that the US where you campaign for almost 2 years for an office, you go through house to house and so if you want to connect for the highest office of Nigeria, I don't expect that you want to start campaigning just a month or. But again, that is for the politicians. A lot of people have made up their mind, and so even the campaigns per se in Nigeria today is just a kind of reminder. But what we should guard against, like you rightly mentioned, before I give it to my colleague, is that the issue of instead of vote buying has to be put in the front burner. And I think INEC has tried to say, well, don't come with your phones or other devices to record at the polling unit. Sorry, the polling box. The polling box as it were, assuming we have an enclosure. If we're going to have an enclosure for polling as it were, which ought to be the right thing. If we're going to use all these makeshift where you can see through, then the whole idea will still be defeated because one can still record what is happening in terms of which party you are voting for. And if you don't limit that access to the privacy of the voter,
the vote buying program
must remain there. Once I cannot confirm who you voted for, then I will not go take the risk of giving you money because I can take my money and vote for who you like. So that is a very crucial aspect now because like I always say elsewhere, politicians don't know that our votes count. The area of snatching ballot papers or writing results have been taken by very minimal. If not, I've done electoral petitions and it's not easy. So they know they need your vote to get elected, but they do not want to convince you to vote for them. They believe they can buy your conscience. And so that is the crucial aspect.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Job. Well articulated, I must admit. Okay, now let's get the thoughts of Barrister Patrick Isekwene. Yes.
In a country where people are attached to democracy, where people believe in democracy, where there is trust, where believe that the vote can count, by now there could have been, you see all kind of campaign over issue of election. The election is already here. It's already here.
It's February 16th.
Yes. The ban has been lifted. It not just stops you. But you know too well that there are a lot of people are strategizing, no need for me to campaign, that I will buy their votes. So things are put into place. That's why they said in the country where you operate with democracy, where people vote counts, that the only way is that people will vote according to their conscience. You hear a lot of people campaign, but now it's just very few. How many parties? What did you jingles? How many political parties? You have 91 political parties. You can only see 2 parties campaigning. 91. Only 2 political parties. That's the truth. Abysmal failure. To be honest with you. So the issue is that's why I'm a bit aggrieved. I'm very sad when the president refused to sign the electoral assignment.
Okay. Because
this is what will cut the whole issue. It will cut the whole issue in the sense that we see that even PDP in their own, they take a blame on the incumbent party, APC, that they're not campaigning. It means they want to ring the election. Yes, you can see the way they are. It means the ordinary don't have been in the streets. That's the way they are. If they believe that, the vote can count. Because once the electoral act is passed, you know too well that it's going to be electronic voting. No more manipulation. But if you to sign it, you can start on pretty, not with their normal style. They snatch boxes, rewrite results, they count. That is what you're going to see in this election. But the president wanted to promise, you're making promises all over the world that you're going to be fair and fair election. I don't know how you're going to do it with the usual style. But the usual style, nothing different. When your other came in, the man who said improving in democracy, what he meant on ground. To start with, he said the president brought me in his party. It's not a fair and fair election. I'm going to do certain things. And he started. That's what I mean. So now, for Buhari to promise the world, and what we have aided him, the main tool he needs is the electoral act. 4 times he needs to assent to it. Now, he opened, in the prelim, they said, oh, so the card is not working, this is, yeah, they start manipulating. Everything will come in. That is the system, what we want to see in the election. That is why a lot of people are saying they don't have faith in this election, because what is happening? He could have signed it. That's what give it a
trial. But the president gave reasons for not signing.
Yes, but which are, it doesn't hold water. If everyone not for sign it, let us give a trial. A journey of 1,000 kilometers, you start with a step. Give it a trial. You must start from somewhere. You must start from somewhere. You have not tried it. They didn't even feel. You have not tried it. Why not try it? So let me fight. If I can really achieve free and fair election, I have achieved something. Let me do it. To show them that I'm a man that can deliver. I'm a man who can do something different. I'm a man who can. You don't give up. So I feel bad. That's why you see a lot of substitution here. But you have to be campaigning here and here. There are people who are busy campaigning, but like I said, it's only if you watch your jingle all over, it's just 2 parties. So most of them are just in theory, practical, they're not on ground. Probably just to make name. At the end of the day, you see them selling their votes. What I mean, political party say, oh, if I have only 200 people voted for us, please, party B, I'm ready to sell it. Take it. That's what they're going to do. And then they don't mislead you. They don't meet up what it takes. They don't know what it takes. They're going to sell votes to other parties. That's what's going to happen. That's the truth of the matter. So let us call this spade a spade. So we have no option. But what is on ground now, the election of the to pass with the normal system, Nigerians should be vigilant, they should open their eyes, they should do their best, they should come out en masse, they should defend their votes. They make sure nothing stop them from going to vote. They do not just lose vote totally. Because of this, oh, we're not going to vote, will not count. At the end of the day, because we even know that 2015 election was not, they always have its own problem. You are aware that even Disney indicted some electoral commissioners from different states. So collected 500 million to falsify votes. So collected 700 million. It's on record, public domain. EFCC.
Continue.
Yeah, EFCC has this record. Yeah. They told them, but arrange them. So some commissioner collected 500 million, 700 million, 400 million to falsify election results. They did it before. It's not a new thing. So Nigeria should stand up. This election is a special election. Yeah. Like there's not like gentleman in this election. Nigeria's suffering is too much. We must stop once and for all.
Okay, Mr. Patrick, I can see you are really agitated. But before we continue, I'm happy that both of you are lawyers, very seasoned lawyers, especially Dr. Joe Bodun has a lot to say regarding what you have said. Now, the Electoral Act, we understand that the ECOWAS Court has a verdict on that there's supposed to be a period before before an election for an electoral act to be signed. Does that play in Nigeria's case?
Actually, what I understand that there's a protocol, not really a decision of the ECOWAS Court per se. It has not be tested by way of litigation. Yes. There's a protocol which is also not just ECOWAS based. The AU, of course, the international organizations like the UN, you have certain benchmarks, certain benchmarks for electoral process for conducting elections. And of course, such benchmark includes the procedure and the timeline. All the timeline that you should not tinker with or introduce a new electoral law act less than 6 months to the election.
Okay.
Less than 6 months. So obviously, Nigerians, Nigeria as a country is a part to this protocol. We signed this protocol.
Okay.
For those who do international law, they may know better. We signed it, so we are bound by it, you know, in principle and in law, really. And strangely enough, politicians and even lawyers who are cascading, they know all these things. But yet, when it comes to politics, we suddenly become momentarily blind. Yes, I agree. The blame we can blame the president, in quotes. I want to say blame is that maybe he would have signed it before now. He would have signed a long time. It's coming the 4th time. He would have signed 1st, 2nd, or 3rd time. Maybe this issue of timeline will not have caught up with us.
Okay.
But be that it is still there. But we don't want to go to those details that we talked about. We know the reasons for all those rigmaroles. You know, at the time when we should have focused on the Electoral Act itself, they were bothering with the sequence of election. Like I always say, we must tell the truth. You see, if we are truth seeking for nationality, we should always put our country first, not personal interests. With due respect. So when
thank you, Dr. Joe. Now, for us to continue on the program, we're looking at other issues, nitty-gritty of the 2019 election. But like I said, the presidential debate is pivotal to the success of any election in any democracy. And in Nigeria, it's been adopted. Organized by Nigerian Election Debate Group in conjunction with the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria. The vice presidential debate has been held, and that was on the 14th of December. But some issues cropped up. We understand that some parties protested that they were not included. Only 5 political parties were included: the Allied Congress Party of Nigeria, the Alliance for New Nigeria, All Progressive Congress, the People's Democratic Party, and the Young Progressive Party. Dr. Joe, is this appropriate?
Well, appropriateness is very relative in terms of it. You know, for those of us who are in the academics, you know, when you want to score, you must have a marking scheme. You know, your marking scheme determine what is right or who has passed or not. So I don't know. I wouldn't know the benchmarks that the NDGC, you know, the body that organized the debate, what they used in determining parties that were invited for that debate. I wouldn't know. But I know that one of the benchmarks that ought to have been used now, speaking, is that having the popularity of the parties, their strength as a party, judging by the previous elections. So, and then if the party has a candidate for the office in the first place. I'm surprised a party like ABGA wasn't there, but I don't know if ABGA has a candidate. I imagine they don't have. That's why they were not invited. So there may have been other benchmarks used. And one of the other benchmarks would be that you cannot crowd the place. You don't expect that you want VPs to have come to debate that day. You will spend the entire day. So naturally, they must be streamlined to some parties. It cannot be 91, all parties cannot be there. So I wouldn't, but I also want to believe that if they streamline the process and arrived at the parties there that day, I think the 2 major parties were represented. If they had even asked the 2 parties to come, because the debate that day when we watched it was basically between the 2 major political parties, the 2 vice presidents. So ideally, the 5 to me is fair enough, given the time, space. If you even watch that debate, they couldn't cover a lot of issues. A lot of issues, we see mainly economy and the rest and few tangential. So the bodies that organize will have a better reason, but it is not a right that you must debate. So the issue of being disenfranchised, issue of privilege shouldn't come, that shouldn't be an issue really. If you want to debate, the other bodies that organize debate. It's just part of the debate. The NDG did the debate. Other bodies can organize the debate. We in academia, if we're not on strike, can organize our debate too. So it's not about we must be gathered in one place to debate one day. It's a continuous process. And even the vice president, the governorship, even the House of Assembly members in those states, and not to debate. It's a continuous process. Okay. So that if these 5 were there that day, the other set can be invited at another day, if not by NDG because of cost implications for another body. Okay. So I don't think it's a big issue, really. Okay.
Barrister Patrick, you want to react to that?
Before I come to that, please, I'd like to just kind of digress over the issue of the protocol.
The ECOWAS, yes. Okay, in terms of signing of the electoral...
yes, so I want to make clear is that, you see, in international law, the so-called Pax Sat Servanda, you see, you are bound, a duty of obligation over the agreement entered. Okay. You are bound to obey it. Okay. It's a gentleman agreement. There's a word called dualism in international law. Dualism. So, as a dualism, at that protocol, we say we are a subscriber. You also need to also ratify it. Okay. To become law effectively. Okay. Because there are some, you can even refrain from the probably as a result of, because we are a sovereign country. There are some agreements we just enter based on kind of fraudulence or certain things, it can be ignored. So, but I'm not aware, not to my knowledge, that this agreement has been ratified.
Okay.
By law, National Assembly, not to that, not to that, we must do that to become effective. Okay. Not to our knowledge. So that one can put that aside. So what the president did was just deliberate. Nothing stops him. First, second, third, fourth. Okay. Because probably, I don't know. Best known to him. That's why there's a lot of suspicions. That's by the wayside. Okay. So let me come back to properly
yes.
where we yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's part of the process.
Yes, yeah, I would like to you.
Okay.
Honestly speaking, you see, when it was time for this debate, because I hardly have time to sleep, to rest, or it might be phone calls. I don't know. I said, oh, Vice President debate. I put my answer on silence. I off my television, so I want to sleep. Because, yes, I said it's a time for me to rest. I'm telling you what I did. I said, because what I know is the presidential debate. Okay. Presidential debate. Wanted to see presidential debate, not vice president debate. No, don't worry. Okay. We know. Quote me here. Yes. By that January, they will not come. Quote, I'm just telling you here. What January the president will call up will be attend that debate. So what you just vice president debate. I'm not putting you here now. What January? So if you don't, what is gone? So we have started presidential debate. But
your interest is to see President Buhari.
That's what they are all for. I don't want vice president more or less an errand but to the president.
No, but
it's the president want to hear from.
If you say that, is that not a disservice to the office of the vice president?
Yes.
By constitution, don't they have assigned roles?
My dear brother, you see, if like our constitution, like allocation in Nigeria, most constitution we operate, what we say, our laws have no problem. We don't have problem. It's the players. If you have a leader that don't mean good, the vice president is always in his time. You understand what I mean? When you have a leader like somebody like Yar'Adua, you allow things to go the way it is. You understand what I mean? For example, you are aware.
You're talking about the late.
But yes. I mean, but you have a leader who is has a political culture. So many things. You don't give a damn. The vice president has no say. It's when I'll ask you to just remember Obasanjo and Atiku problem.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because Atiku was so want to, but I said no. They can do and undo. That's the truth of the matter. It's only when you have a president that mean well for the people, that believe in rule of law, that respect the law, that this will come into play. If you have a president, the vice president is just on his own.
Yes, but under this dispensation, talking about Muhammadu Buhari's administration, the vice president has done a lot. We must give it to President Buhari for that. Especially the sacking of Daura, the DSS DG, it was not reversed by the president. And we saw also the confirmation of the chief judge.
Okay.
Yes, that was another landmark achievement under the office of the vice president.
Yes,
so we must give kudos to
my dear Gosa, you see it from the surface, but there's more to it. There's what we call behind scene. You have to consult. Before anything, you have to consult. It is when you approve. A lot happen. Don't just see what you see. I'm telling you, a lot happen. Like the second of the DSS up to today, do you hear anything about it? The committee audit, do you hear anything about it? Just leave that one. See, for instance, the National Assembly, the Senate, 4 times they refused, more than how many times? Over 4 times over my book.
Okay, the EFCC.
Yes. Now he's still in office. You have a president who is believing in rule of law. What is Senate reviews? What's your interest? There are over 200 million Nigerians that are qualified for this job. What is your refuse? It's still there. EFCC. That's just the man. The man will not have. He can never be loyal to Nigeria. He has no mind. Personal enmity, vendetta to some persons. That's just the matter. The president refused. What is the Senate of Nigeria has refused to? You see the Senate. Is it to confirm by himself? Why not just start? Why did you bring to the Senate? It's a different body. So you will take them to look at it and just like the budget. They will scrutinize the budget very well before they can know what to do. They have gone through it. Said no. As a president who believes in the rule of law, you must obey. Hence, they don't need to take to them. They refuse. What will you do? You look for that person to forward. Okay. But now, you do that. Okay. By rule of law.
Let's come back to this 2019 election. Yeah. Like you said, 2 prominent parties. We have the PDP, we have the APC. The presidential candidate of the PDP recently asked the presidential candidate and, of course, the incumbent president of the APC to resign.
Okay.
Now, do you think this is healthy for democracy, Dr. Joe?
Well, it is healthy, yeah, it is healthy. Asking the city president to resign for valid reasons is part of expressing your freedom of expression as a citizen first. You can ask people, I can do that. It doesn't have to be a man who is contesting against him, really, but just as one guy expect that if you are sure of victory in February, you must as well just wait for him to push him out in February. So, okay. So asking to resign 2 months of the election, like telling the football match, asking the coach that you must resign before play this football match, or the players, the arrowhead, the striker should be dropped so that the match can be enjoyed by the opponent. But be that as it may, I think in the context was because the president admitted that there was a lot of economic challenges in this country. He admitted, trying to be honest with Nigerians, at least before the election. And of course, I think that was echoed by even his ministers. And the man said, if you cannot fix our economy, you resign. But I think that would have been a better selling point for the well, it means that you cannot contest, we cannot trust you with our patrimony next year in an election. So the issue of resigning itself only wins the party for the incumbent. I think it was ill-timed for him to have said that. Like I say, it is right though, but as a politician, you have to master your game too. You have to choose your body language and everything. So I think that was a whimsical comment or solution for me. It was quite unnecessary. Okay,
Barrister Patrick, you want to react to that?
No, I think I hold the same view with what Dr. said. Well, it's entitled to his own opinion. Okay. You are allowed to make your own view. And I don't say anything bad, but in a civilized country who respect democracy, you will resign. They resign. There's no criticism. They just take a bow. But here, I think so many of them, it's an aberration, it's a taboo for you to make such a statement. But it's ideally, in a civilized world, you give your opinion, and the president is bound to obey.
Okay, but don't you think Nigeria is gradually allowing the international community recognize the fact that there's development in terms of democracy, in terms of governance? We saw Adeosun, former finance minister, she resigned because a journalist under the Freedom of Information Act revealed or exposed the fact that the former Minister of Finance did not save this country. So, don't you think that there is development? Because the Vice President, the President candidate of PDP, asking the President to resign based on performance in terms of the economy and all that. Yeah. Anything can still happen. So we can't just rule it out that they will take it with mixed feelings. Yes. Okay. Now, same PDP has asked INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood, to resign. So why all this call for resignation by PDP?
Season of resignation.
Yes. No, Professor Patrick, I still want you to comment on this.
Yes. I think you see. The core.
PDP is scared?
No, nobody has. PDP is not scared as a party.
I can't speak for them now.
I can't speak for them. Let me say, I'm not scared. I want to tell you, yes, I'm not scared. I told you, if they have signed this electoral, they view and there are a lot of suspicions. Any move, because there are some people in this election issue, there are people who are gladiators. There are some people whose role are very, very vital, like the INEC. INEC, INEC, they have a very role. Yeah. The security services, they all have a vital role to play. Because at the end of the day, you see, both blame is on INEC, on the security services. That's why any serious political party who want to win an election, who is present in the election, must monitor these people very well. Yes. You must monitor their movement. You must checkmate them, or else you are just wasting your time. It's like a football match.
So PDP is suspicious.
Yeah, like when you have special star among the team, the other must put special. They must attack. They must on that person. That's what it is. Okay. These are the gladiators who make things happen. Yes. That's just the matter.
Okay, Dr. Joe.
I want to take a cue from what you said. It's correct. Is the way I just to put the INEC chairman and of course the IGP on their toes, you know. Okay. So checkmate them and put on their toes. So you have to be neutral. But we don't trust you. But we would prefer you resign. Okay. So we can bring somebody that we trust. Yes. I know that those emotions were also exhibited just before the 2015 election. Okay. Who were not comfortable with Jega. There are some fifth column who say, well, Jega should have been removed then because the Northerner was going to skew towards the interest of Buhari as a Northern candidate and all that. So we live in an environment of suspicion. And that is why it is not good for a country or for someone like me, and of course my colleague who believe in the letters of the law and institutional development. If we have the law, we have institutions properly, regulated as we believe they should be, then the issue of persons occupying the positions should not be a problem to them. Because once the person runs afoul, you know how to get the person out of the place.
Okay.
You see, this envelope of mutual suspicion is not good. Elections have been held by this chairman of the INEC. Those of the elections that are agreed to in the courts challenging those elections, you drive home your point in the tribunals. If INEC is indicted, and indictment gets as far as the chairman, because he rubber stamps any irregularity, assuming you prove any, he has to go. And let me go beyond that. After 2015 elections, some INEC stars, as I speak today, are still being prosecuted for the role they played in electoral process fraud, especially when it goes to financial management. A lot of them were induced financially to tinker with elections. Persons were used as SP, special purpose vehicle to siphon money for election purposes. So they are still being tried. So for the chairman of INEC, since he's there, you need to indict him or show evidence where he has been so involved in electoral compromises. Of course, we had the electoral empire like an to this country. Nobody asked him to resign. Without missing one, we knew what the role he played in the era of electoral haste in this country. So until election. No election was as bad as that in this country. We cannot run away from it.
Yeah, but the opposition is not comfortable with the conduct of election in Ekiti.
And they're in the tribunal.
Yes.
So you drive home your point in the tribunal. And when you get, if you can prove your point there, and INEC is indicted, if you have an indictment of INEC, for example, now, not just the chairman, you can say on the basis of this, he must resign.
Yeah.
Or because for reason, not to say because you just believe that he's appointed by the current president, just the way you said the acting chairman, Zainab was his cousin and all that. No, we shouldn't that. We should rise above that. I don't expect some of us who are also trained in the rigors of law and institutional framework to subscribe to that. We should be the ones advising them. I say the judge must resign because you feel the judge will be partisan, but you cannot prove his bias. You feel this judge, this man I'm seeing now, because he's appointed by the governor, he's going to give against me because you are suing the governor over land use act, land use charge. So you must, all judges in the state cannot hear the case because they are appointed by the governor. That is not how we operate. Okay,
thank you, Dr. Job. Thank you, Barrister Patrick Isekwene. I hope you are enjoying the program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. We've been able to dissect the issues regarding the 2019 election, very crucial to the development of this country. It is believed that if democratic tenets are well enshrined in this country, then Nigeria shall be catapulted to very high heights, or to be repositioned to its prime position in the Committee of Nations. Okay, we have another issue to look at on this program, and that has to do with the presentation of the 2019 budget proposal, which is the 2019 appropriation bill presented by President Muhammadu Buhari to our joint section of the National Assembly. Criticisms trailed the presentation. Before the presentation, why the President addressed a joint section of the National Assembly, there was shells and jeers. So many people are not comfortable with that the lawmakers could do that to their president. We'll start from there. Let's start with Barrister Patrick Isekwene. The shares and jeers that characterize the presentation of the 2019 appropriation bill by President Muhammadu Buhari. What's your take on that?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all, because you know that the relationship between the executive and the legislative arm of government, National Assembly, have not been cordial. I must tell you truth and nothing but the truth.
But it has never happened.
No, well, that depends on yes, it never happened. Yes. That never happened.
To President Buhari.
Yes, it never happened. That's it's an opportunity now for them to throw out their grievances by borrowing on yes, you know. But even not there. There's an opportunity to anger, different thing, you know, and so again at the same time, political party trying to protect their own president, party leader. Yeah. That was what you saw playing. That what you saw playing. That played out. So it's normal. Okay. It's democracy.
Dr. Joe.
Well. My colleague says normal. Well, I want to believe that it's normal in the context. Really, it's You see, first and foremost, we don't operate the parliamentary system of government.
Okay.
So the example who draw, I've listened to some of your sister stations who draw attention for what happened in the UK and it's highly
the Brexit issue.
The UK is a parliamentary system. The Prime Minister is a parliamentarian. He's an MP, but an MP, an MP amongst equals. So you can have that in the situation because we are debating there. He debates himself. But in the presidential of government, when the president comes to present the budget before National Assembly, it's a solemn, formal, activity, ceremony, solemn, and it's very formal. And so, for members in the hallowed chambers to resort to what we do on the streets when we are protesting, what our students do, and we try to call them to order. Imagine what my dean of students goes through when our students are protesting. So for our members in the hallowed chambers who earn so much from this, our economy, and who have been enjoying so much, that's coming to do that yesterday, was most disgusting, honestly. You see, the achievement is not very, you do partisan politics, for goodness sake. You see, there are other fora for doing that, and there are other time to do that too. You see, if workout would have been better if they went to work out. And I know they have misgiving, like my colleague has said, about issues on ground. You should have, if you don't grant models, don't grant models. But the whole world is watching us. It's a presidential system of government. So the president there speaking, remains the president, he has, the chambers itself was desecrated. Not the Aso Rock. The man leaves and goes back. But that chambers has been desecrated because it was setting a precedent for future.
But could it be why the president was enumerating the achievement of his government? Probably that triggered the misreaction.
No, like I said elsewhere, because elsewhere, governments are known for propaganda, promises, and there is government propaganda. Yeah. And so government, whichever party, has always used that as a gimmick to sustain itself in power, and also to even get into power. As even the other parties who are trying to do government, it's all about propaganda. Yeah. So if the government comes and says we have done that, like I said, what was the fact check? Like I said yesterday, how were they so sure that you were not telling the truth there? Because those of them there, they are in the parliament. They are part of they have powers of oversight. Functions. They go to these ministries and then just to check. If the president says a road in Ajakuta has been tagged, are you just knowing yesterday?
Okay.
You can't be yesterday that you're just knowing.
But there's a committee that
goes around to check. The information that flows. You have the very offices. You media men disseminate news.
Exactly.
So the members of the House didn't just know yesterday that this show was not tagged. No, it was purely politics. The National Assembly has been polluted by partisan politics because the two persons there who head are not living above board as leaders of the House, but the citizens are leaders of the political. Imagine where one of them is a DG of a candidate. What do you expect? So they politics so much, they brought national interest to the lowest ebb, but they pretend that they are protecting our interests. So it was like a contest, like a debate, like a political party, manifesto night in a manifesto night where you go to present your manifesto, you are being heckled by the other candidates. The other party felt that the president wasn't doing well. Let us try and embarrass him using this forum so that we can make him look very unpopular and make him look very ruffled before the public. The other party supporters, like I said, try to protect their president, but both sides are wrong. You have no business turning the hallowed chambers on an issue so serious because the budget is coming to you. All the lies are going to be spotted when you are going to enforce the budget. We're going to set a committee to look at the gray areas in the budget. So couldn't you wait for that period to do that? Why the heck you are going and it's highly unparliamentary? Nobody can pretend about that on both sides. So let's not pretend.
Okay, I can see that Mr. Patrick is itchy to talk now.
Yes,
because you seem to you want to react to what Dr. Job has said.
No, he has said so much about it. But all I can see, my own observation, that's my conclusion. It's more like we call it relative comic relief. You just entertain themselves. So you cannot go on.
No, but we must also commend President Buhari, who was so calm. Why that shells and jeers going on? The president was calm.
He has no choice. That's why the president. That's why the president. That's why the president was not president.
He's a visitor. He's a part of them. We'll be looking at them till they end the drama. He's a community.
You have no choice.
The agenda of the day will not go on.
But do you think what happened yesterday could be a wake-up call to the president? Though he has a few months to the election. Probably while enumerating the achievement of his government, some section of the National Assembly felt they are not comfortable with that. So do you think that can be a wake-up call, Dr. Joe?
Yeah, it can be a wake-up call, but I don't even think the wake-up call should come from them, because they can't wake anybody up. Because the wake-up call is for both the president and the National Assembly themselves. Because, like I said, all the drivers of governance are in their hands. So they cannot talk about wake-up call, because what we have been doing here, I think I've been coming to this program for almost a year plus now. It's enough to wake people up.
Okay.
The civil societies have been complaining everywhere. The pressure groups are there. The unions are on strike. So the wake-up call is not going to come from these persons. So the wake-up call, if any, has been on. And I think the government is aware of its failures. Of course, that is why they are campaigning for a second term. And if they're not giving, the other party has a pressure of coming to make up for their failures. Okay. So I don't think it is at that point in time where you are presenting a budget that partisans should come in and then just a wake-up call. Certainly not. Those who wake up the government are on this side, not that side. They are on one side.
Okay. Now, why still talking about the presentation of the budget? We could say that the president was very eloquent. He celebrated his 76th birthday recently. Don't you think this president is fit for 2019 election?
For me, I see a lot of things. Sometimes too, I don't blame the president, but just because you have a president that doesn't believe in politics, privacy, you know too well. The man is not health-wise.
But he's heard it.
No? Listen, now why is he not campaigning? Those are part of the problem. Presidential campaigning is not an easy job. Presidential campaign to fly all over is not for people who is not healthy. You are still campaigning. That I said, too much security, you know, they will open up. It's not easy. Compared to his age and the health problem, it's going to be a kind of factor that will militate against his campaign. Because his health is a natural thing. Can't do otherwise. We see Osinbajo moving everywhere because he's healthy. That's what I mean. Yeah. But the extent that Osinbajo can go. There's where certain things were needed there, and you send your deputy, they will not be comfortable. Or I prefer the also to be there. You see, we know one. That just doesn't matter. Yeah. That just doesn't matter. So the health issue, the family, to go around campaign, even the 2015 campaign that time point, this is most steady. You know, so I cannot talk on that. Nobody is healthy, but for me, I have a negative thought over that.
But we saw the presentation yesterday.
Yes. I mean, going to campaign, well, that's a talk.
I was able to speak.
Yes,
stood for the
it's just for how many hours?
Yeah. But there's another issue that cropped up. I don't want to look at the figures now, or the central allocation. We'll look at that, but there's another thing that cropped up yesterday, and that has to do with the Senate President and the Speaker. They didn't make speeches.
Well, I'm not too sure if they have any role to play in terms of speeches. Except they didn't make, I'm sorry I didn't watch it. They didn't make any opening speech, at least to welcome the president.
Because some persons decide that they want to make speeches.
They have to have some welcome speeches, as it were, as it's traditional. But I didn't watch it. As it was done. If it's not done, then maybe.
Yeah, no, but you don't expect them to, which is welcome. He is the one to address them what he has. They welcome him. They already. So for the joint sitting, the Senate President and the
Speaker
of the joint sitting, the senators and House of Parliament, they are all there. You're welcome. They are all there. So the meeting is open. He's here to present his budget. John needs to receive what he and they have to scrutinize it. He needs to deliver the budget. They will look at it. They cannot give an answer immediately. The president can make any statement. Can give. They're going to scrutinize it to look at the budget. And that's the time they will react.
Okay, thank you, Secretary. Then we'll look at another issue. Now, let's go to the figure now. President Muhammadu Buhari presented a budget proposal of 8.83 trillion naira to a joint section of National Assembly. There's an issue that cropped up. Yeah. Minimum wage. The president brought that up. That soon he will need the National Assembly's input
to pass.
They have a role to play in terms of the new minimum wage. Yes. What do you think is delaying the new minimum wage, Dr. Joe?
Well, the last I checked, I think the people delaying the minimum wage, my friend is laughing. our reverend governors, the governors are the people's delaying because the governors have not been able to key into the 30,000 naira agreed or proposed by the committee set up by the government. And of course, it's truly a lot of issues because, like I said sometime in this program, because we operate a federal system of government, the governors want to assert their rights, autonomy as it were, with respect to what they can pay. So I'm not too sure how far they have gone with harmonizing the governor's position now to agree on 30. But I think that what the president is doing now, which is the right thing to do now, is to go ahead with the federal government aspect of it and get the national government to pass that as the minimum wage. And then when it comes to implementation, the governors can choose not to implement and then face their labor leaders in their various states. Where does the federal must have a ceiling that at least we'll have a minimum wage for federal workers. Yeah. And because if governors claim they want to practice federalism and therefore we cannot impose that amount on us, then for those of us who are champions of federalism, we have to look at that. It has a own negative effect too. Okay. At times, in military structure, at times, plus or minus has its own benefit. Because if to the military era by now, we have passed that as a law. Yes. The governors will have no choice. Otherwise, if you go back to the barracks. Okay. But now, we believe that the labor leaders, as they have said, will use the power of their vote, their PVC, to ensure that by February, those governors, those state governors who said they cannot pay 30%, they should be marked as they said them, and ensure they are voted out. Because it's all about politicking. But again, I also want to see that beyond 30, there is no money really. Okay. But we are looking at the future when you want to increase it to about 100,000 naira per month in the next 2 or 3 years, which I hope will be done. Then we can now look at the issue of fiscal federalism, regional allocation. Because they say that saying we don't have so much.
Yes,
but to pay, but that is not what you can say for just 30,000. If you pay 50,000 and above, you can complain. But when the minimum gets to by 100,
but even 18,000, some states are owing.
It's mischief. Also, it's mischief. We know that it's mischief. No state can say cannot pay that. They receive money from their allocation. They have money for current. It is just mischief. A state government cannot pay 18 or doesn't want to pay 30. It's just mischief. That's the truth.
That's Patrick.
Why? Also, there's a lot of politicking behind the issue of. That's why you see. Yeah, that's why I laughed initially. You see, when something is 40, I've been issue. No matter how you try, you have problem. You see, the Labour's leaders have no faith. I don't trust them. So even the president himself is not being honest. I must tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Let me just digress a little. Okay. Now let me tell you. See, ordinarily 2 factions during this Labour Congress election. The other faction and the Ayuba faction. You all know too well that Ayuba faction was the product of Shomole and the Buhari. Now let me tell you, sir. If, for instance, when somebody steals your property and you want to assist you to look for it, it's assisting you. You can never get it. That's where we find ourselves now. It's 40. Now let me tell you, the Labour Congress, Ayuba faction, they are playing politics with the team. Yeah. Initially, their first strike, the strike they had that first time, they had not to. They pay politics with who they spent 4 days. You see very vividly, they had meeting with the chief of staff, government house, and they now agreed that they were on the Thursday. The meeting was at the end of the day, there was a robust meeting, fine, no cul-de-sac, no, they were very fine. They had to meet on Thursday. What did they meet? They said they went on strike. And I said, why should they go on strike? And they had to meet on Thursday. Oh, that's Thursday now. They've not given what they want by that Thursday now. No, not it. Now, since they're going on strike, instead Nigerians, let us continue. Let us continue with that strike. Yeah. My brother. I told people that when it was close to the eve of the president for the October 1st celebration, they quickly call it off. They are paying politics to allow their man to. That's what they did. They sat on there for 4 days. Since they were on strike, then let the just like what Montana Assembly did, try let the strike. But if to that very October 1st, they couldn't call it off. That's what they did. Deceiving Nigerians. Now watch. I told them you are aware that Attorney General of the Federation went to court, restraining order against restraining labor, not to go on strike. Yeah. These are if of it.
Yeah, that was the industrial.
Yes, if of it. I told the people who wanted to crucify me. I said this strike will not hold. They said no. I said it will not hold because I don't trust these people. Watch, they will not go any strike. They're going to be Abakata this night. They said they don't know what I'm talking. I said no. They said they will not party that since strike is going on. Okay. By mid of it. Yeah. It's like no, it should change. So now immediately a tripartite committee was set up since last year by federal government and everybody. They meet and here, at the end of the day, what was submitted to Buhari, he said to look at it, you want to submit it to the National Assembly. Up to today, we've not heard anything about it. They're not playing politics. Nothing will happen. They're after the election. They're just buying time. Watch us not going to sign anything. But so the issue is that we will have a precedent There's no time most governors will want to agree with it. It's been happening before. So if the government go down ahead and put their own ceiling at it, send to them, they pass it. It's not left for governors. That's why you see most of them are paying in different states. No, but that's how we have been operating. But do your own. You are still withholding. You've not done anything. You are not talking about committee by this hour. Well, I don't know how the one this election hour.
Mr. Patrick, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Your parting words, Dr. Joe.
Okay, my parting words still on these issues that Nigerians should key to the electoral process. I'm sure we have our PVCs with us now, and as we look forward to the Utah season, I wish everybody a Merry Xmas and Happy New Year. Let's pray that the economy will be better for us next year as we vote in our leaders.
Okay, parting words for us.
Yeah, well, this year Christmas is not just only Christmas; it's election year. So I advise our people out there: go and get your PVCs. If you've not collected it, go and collect it, and make sure you exercise your franchise.
Thank you.
In coming election.
So, I commend your contribution to today's program.
Thank you very much.
And our viewer out there, thank you. We say compliment of the season to our viewer out there around the world, wherever you're watching this program from. My name is Ego Sagbonao, signing off. Bye-bye.